There is a question that has haunted me since I became a mother, and I am sure it haunts many of you too. Is it possible to love your child more than your own life and yet feel that a part of you died when they were born? Because that is exactly what happened to me here. And today, I want to talk about the pain that no one prepares you to feel in motherhood. Not every woman is reborn in childbirth. Some get lost first. And it's among diapers, sleepless nights, and silences that no one hears that we ask ourselves, who was I before all this? But it is in the midst of chaos that power is born. Ideas are born from exhaustion, and solutions are born from necessity. And new versions of ourselves are born with each small strategy. Here, motherhood is a journey, and every journey is a transformation that needs company. Welcome to Mães, Travessia. I am Juliana Mazzi, and today's episode is The Woman I Was Died in Childbirth. I want to start this video with a confession. When my daughter was born, I felt a love that I didn't even know existed, that so-called unconditional love. It was instantaneous, it was overwhelming, it was very transformative. But along with this love came something that no one had ever told me and that I hadn't read in any book, okay? And look, I'm quite a nerd. I studied a lot during motherhood. A feeling of emptiness came, as if I had lost something on the way from my living room to the delivery room, a very crazy thing. In the first few months, every time someone asked how I was, I automatically responded with everything related to Camille, if she was sleeping, if she was eating, how her growth was. Until one day, a friend from work turned to me. Okay, cool, Camille, but what about you? How are you? I said I was fine, but inside, I no longer recognized who I was. I no longer knew who I was without being Camille's mother. All the things that defined me before, my hobbies, my dreams, my career, the way I dressed, it seemed like everything had evaporated. And the funniest thing is that in my specific case, I didn't feel guilty about it. It was very bizarre. I didn't feel any guilt. But it was weird. Yeah, I knew that post childbirth, it could change everything inside me, right? Yeah, I had studied. My mother had postpartum depression when I was born, so but I wasn't necessarily in that place, but I felt that something inside me had broken and I didn't quite know exactly what. And I think the craziest thing about all this is that, yeah, I also felt an immense longing for who I was, but I didn't even know who I had been anymore. It's a very crazy thing. How can you miss who you were while you're experiencing such a beautiful thing as motherhood? So I looked at Camille, that practically perfect thing, but I no longer identified with who I was and I missed who I used to be. It was a very complex thing. And it took me more than a year to understand that this has a name, that this has been studied, that there is even a technical term, which is the so called loss of maternal identity. I discovered that I was not alone, that I was not being dramatic or ungrateful. I also discovered that when I became a mother, I made very courageous and ambitious decisions. I decided to move to another country and now have to face two challenges: rediscovering myself as a mother and also as an immigrant. And do you know what I discovered? That the woman I was, she didn't die. She transformed during the context of being a first time mother, an immigrant with a 10-month-old baby in her arms, two dogs in tow, 10 suitcases, and a husband. Well, anyway, but that's a story worth telling in another video. But here, today, I want to tell you that no one teaches you how to mourn this transformation. No one gives you permission to miss the freedom you had, or the spontaneity, or the simplicity of making everyday decisions thinking only about yourself. No one tells you that changing the baby, putting them to sleep, carrying them in your arms all day is the easy part. The real challenge is finding yourself again within this exhausting process, which we know is exhausting. And that also doesn't mean you love your child any less. In fact, maybe it's precisely because you love so much, that the transformation ends up being so radical. This is me, a little over 3 years ago. Look at this face. I had no idea what was coming here. Not just motherhood, but the entire journey of rediscovering myself as a new person, as a new woman. But here is something that motivated me to record this video for you, especially for those mothers who are listening to me and who have gone through this moment or are going through this transformation. It doesn't have to be permanent. The point is also not to go back to who you were, because that's impossible, nor is it the goal. The point is to discover who you are becoming. And for me, do you know what has been very interesting in this process? It's realizing it along with my own immigration journey. Being a mother in itself makes you completely step out of your comfort zone because you are practically forced to stop being selfish. The world stops revolving around your own navel and starts revolving around another being that you love more than yourself. My baby, she turns 3 years old in exactly 6 months, and now, almost 2 years after I immigrated, I am starting to remember who I was beneath all this transformation. Not the same person, but a more expanded version, a person who carried all the women I have been and is now discovering who I could, who I can really be. And it was exactly from this pain, from this journey of rediscovering myself, that a project was born, which helped me a lot in this process. And today also helps other mothers. Because when you are in the middle of the storm, you need practical strategy and not just theory. Now, when I look in the mirror, I no longer see a stranger. I see a woman under construction and maturing, and that is beautiful and really good. This journey is very good. If you got here, it's probably because some part of my story resonates with you. And I want you to know one thing: you are not alone, not at all. And it doesn't matter much if you are an immigrant mother, a single mother, or a very well married mother. There is an entire community of women navigating the same journey. Women who deeply love their children and are trying to find themselves again. Women also who are on a journey of discovering, do I really love this much? Do I love my child? I didn't love him the first time I saw him. And look, what I have learned is that there is nothing wrong with that. Definitely, there is nothing wrong. And that's why I created this channel. This channel will be our space to talk about things no one talks about, to share discoveries, our setbacks, the small victories, to remind each other that motherhood is not erasure, it's a great transformation. In the coming weeks, I will share more of my journey here, how it was to rediscover my purpose, how it has been. I am still on this path. And the mistakes I made trying to be myself again, the things I learned about rebuilding friendships, about dreaming again, about starting a new job, about balancing who I am as a mother with who I am as a woman. And I will also share practical strategies that helped me on this journey, small actions, a few minutes that make a real difference in our daily lives. And I want to hear about your journey too. Tell me in the comments, have you ever felt like this? What helped you find yourself again? Or if you're in the middle of this process now, what has been the most difficult? And before I finish, I want to make one thing clear. If you are watching this and feeling guilty for identifying with this feeling, or if somehow you feel a huge longing for yourself before becoming a mother, stop. Breathe. Being a good mother doesn't mean erasing yourself forever. Taking good care of your child doesn't mean you have to stop taking care of yourself forever. And missing who you used to be doesn't lessen the love you feel for the person you raised. The woman in this photo, she didn't die, she evolved. And the woman you're becoming, she is worth getting to know. And if you want to know more about the strategies that helped me on this journey, stay tuned for the next videos. Every Tuesday and Saturday, a new video for you. Until the next conversation, take care of yourself.